Hello everyone, I'm Rahul, and today I'm going to talk about gender inequality. We live in a society where gender inequality has always been a huge issue, and it still remains a matter of great concern. We all talk about equality, but have you ever questioned that what does equality actually mean? There is equality at social level, which means that regardless of your gender, you will have equal rights and you will have equal opportunities for growth. No one can deprive you of any opportunity, of any right on the basis of your gender. Then there are some differences between the physiology and psychology of men and women. Some of these differences are real, some of them are invented. We will try to understand all of it. The social perspective, the real and invented differences, and it would be really easier if we will begin with the very history of gender inequality. When it comes to social equality, women have been deprived of all the opportunities in the past. For thousands of years, what men has done to the women is simply monstrous. She was denied of all the education. She was barred from the temples. She was excluded from taking any positions in the church. She couldn't listen to the scriptures. The past belonged to the male chauvinist. And post the agricultural revolution, all over the world, patriarchal social structures developed. Talking about India, Tulsidas compared her with animals, which is so inhuman. Chanakya didn't even consider her to be trustworthy, which is so illogical. There was Sati Pratha. Once the husband died, she was forced to burn with the husband's funeral pyre, which is so ugly, which is so inhuman, and we still consider this to be the great past of our country. Talking about the West, the Greek philosopher Aristotle portrayed women as morally, intellectually, and physically inferior to men. Aristotle saw women as the property of men. He had this crazy idea that women have limited social role, they were meant to reproduce and help in the household, and somehow he saw the male domination of women as natural and virtuous. And the thing is that these crazy ideas spread all over the world because Alexander the Great was disciple of Aristotle. Wherever he went, all these ideas spread like fire and they influenced the upcoming generations. So all over the world, men has crippled women in every possible way. She was exploited. She was reduced to just breeding machine. Her freedom was curtailed. Hence, she could not contribute much in the past to the humanity. If equal opportunity would have been there, certainly there would be more art, more music, more poetry, more science, more of everything. Because up until now, humanity has only seen half the contribution. Half the humanity which was women was simply repressed. And the ugly thing is that just before the beginning of the last century, the cream of the men was claiming that she is biologically inferior to men. Pay attention to these words of a biologist. Seeing that the average brain weight of women is about 5 ounces less than that of men, on merely anatomical grounds, we should be prepared to expect a marked inferiority of intellect in the former. Now, such claims led to a new paradigm shift, that the brain or psychology of women is basically different from men, and hence they are suited for different social roles. Now, this did not go very well with a lot of people, especially the women. That's the reason why in 1960s, a major women liberation movement was started. It was started as a fight for the equal rights for women, but gradually it became a little stupid. Intention was right, but it turned into something stupid. Why? Because asking for equality, women did not realize when they were becoming similar to men. Just because the men smokes, the women were smoking. For the very first time, they were acting and they were dressing like men. Men has never tried to act or dress like women. So, for too long the women were repressed, and in their retaliation they started acting like the oppressor, and it was stupid. We need to understand that similarity and equality are two different things. Men and women are equal but not similar. Equal opportunities for growth should be there, but men and women should remain dissimilar and unique. A woman is not a man, and she needs not be a man because man has nothing special. Both are unique and both complement each other. See, there are differences in life, but everyone is equal. A man's body is different from a woman's body. Women can conceive, men cannot. Men's body is generally stronger than women. But this does not mean that a woman should feel inferior just because she doesn't have a strong body, or men should feel inferior just because they cannot conceive. These are just different natural qualities, and one should accept this. One should not try to fight it. If nature has given us something, why try to fight it? And these physiological changes are very superficial. Go a little deeper and you will find that human psychology is not very different. A man is not just a man. He is a woman too. A woman is not simply a woman. She is a man too. There are different traits which we can identify as masculine or feminine. But the thing is that these traits cannot be imposed on anyone on the basis of gender. Just because you are a woman doesn't mean that you will only have feminine traits. Just because you are a man doesn't mean that you will have only masculine traits. We have both the traits, and in some people one can become dominant and the other can become non-dominant, but this does not mean that you do not have the other half. You have the other half. Now, in popular culture, a stupid generalization is always made that women are interested in people and men are interested in things. Now, I have known men who are only interested in gossip and people. They don't give a damn about what's happening in the world. They don't give a damn about the gaming and the technology, any of it. And I've known women who are interested in gaming, who are interested in technology, who are explorative, curious. And some of the men I know care too much about how they look, care too much about what people are thinking about them. This is usually considered as a feminine trait. So who will decide what is feminine and what is masculine? There is no criteria to decide. So when it comes to the psychology of human beings, it is not just black or white. It is more like a rainbow. There are a lot of possibilities. We all have a dominant part, we all have a non-dominant part, or maybe a perfect balance between the two. Now, dominant is going to be how dominant? There is no criteria to tell this thing. Hence, there are a million shades of human psychology. We should not box them into just feminine or masculine. We do much harm to the society by having this mindset, because a lot of people simply repress one side of theirs when they identify themselves as men or women. A man has always been taught to just be men, to never show the softness of his heart, to never show any receptivity, to always be aggressive. Men have been taught to never cry because tears are considered feminine. Women have been told to never show their masculine sides, to never show the aggression, to never show the expression, to always remain passive and receptive. Now, this is against reality, and it has crippled both, not just the women. Some men cannot express their feminine side because it would be considered stupid and embarrassing. For the same reason, some women cannot express their masculine side, and so many people are simply living an inauthentic life because they have identified themselves with a particular gender, and they think that if they are going to express the other side, it will be embarrassing, it will be socially stupid, and they are simply repressing their feelings. So rather than identifying ourselves with a particular gender, we should remain authentic. This is the most important thing that we can do for the betterment of humanity. Nobody should have the authority to dictate how a man should be or a woman should be. What is the criteria to decide? There is none. People are constantly having an argument. They are constantly researching and studying about the differences between men and women, but till date, nothing absolute can be said about it, and nothing should be said about it. What is the need? We are human beings and we can simply live a natural life in a better world with better understanding. A man will be a woman and a woman will be a man too. Because sometimes a man needs to be a woman. There are moments when he needs to be soft, when he needs to be patient, when he needs to be receptive. Similarly, there are moments when a woman needs to be like a man. She needs to show her aggression and expression. In defense, she has to show these qualities. In rebellion, she has to show these qualities. In the past, women was repressed and exploited only because she could not show the anger, the expression, the aggression. And man has created so much violence, so much neurosis in this world because he could not show his love. He could not show his sensitive side. He could not show the softness of his heart. Just the other day, I came across an Instagram post, and in the caption it was written, "Future is feminine." Now I would like to say that future should not be feminine. Future should be whole. Future should be both masculine as well as feminine. There is an ancient picture of Shiva as Ardhanarishwar. It is a symbol of wholeness. In the picture, Shiva is half women, half men. That's how the present as well as the future of humanity should be. Ardhanarishwar. But this will only become a reality if men and women both will forget the hangover of the past. We will have to drop our gender identities. Only then Ardhanarishwar will become a reality. Otherwise, we will go on fighting, and in this fight, only humanity will lose.